I'm so grateful for the good days, the good weather, the good people, the good experiences. My allergies have been kicking my butt. So I find myself lately thinking about this channel and how I utilize the channel and the types of things that I say. And I hope that the people who tune into me, especially if you're not a subscriber, I don't have very many, but I'm so grateful for the ones that I do have. Genuinely, I really am. I remember why I started the channel. It doesn't mean that I always have to be in that fight or flight mode, or like, where I'm in the midst of a battle. I don't have to maintain that position. All of it is about me. It's about me and aspects of myself that I be thinking like, you know what? You ever heard of this, and this happening? What did you do with this, and this? Because we go through a lot of the same things, just in different ways. Some more fruitful than others, some more toxic than others, some longer. Anyway, this young lady at a restaurant earlier this evening, she asked me if I was a witch. And I was like, I mean, I'm a human being and a woman. I'm not quick to call myself anything. When I was religious, like strictly religious, I didn't call myself a Christian. I never called myself a Muslim whenever I studied Islam. Like, I'm a student and I'm learning, and I'm very passionate about it, and I'm very open and free about it. I protect it, but it is what it is. I am on a journey. It is self-discovery. Because how can you say you really love yourself if you don't fully know yourself? Like, I love myself, but if I really love myself, I would be delving into those things that to understand how I win whenever I win, and how I lose whenever I lose, and this makes me happy because of blah blah blah. And then there's just being. So when I was in high school, the biggest thing that stands out for me were some of the hurdles that I had climbed over in my self-esteem, and some of the connections that I made with people that really meant to help me, to evolve me. When I was it was such a confusing time for me. And I was like, I love my family based on love, how I knew how to love back then. Just being, a respectful younger person, trying to be as much as I could, and trying to be forgiving, and trying to be understanding and empathetic, and trying to tone down my anger, because I was thinking, like, my foresight was kicking in, and I was like, man, when people do me wrong right now, I am quick to physically defend myself, and I'm about to be a woman. Just because I'm turning 18, I still don't even know what that means to be a woman. Do I have to get some bills so I can be a woman? Do I have to get married and have a relationship and have children to be considered a woman? Because anyway, and see, I'm talking about high school and saying one of the biggest things, or some of the biggest aspects, the most monumental moments, they were not structured around what I was learning in school. They were structured around relationships that I was learning from, and my obsession with learning about those relationships. Like, I want to say my junior and senior year, to people on the outside, may have seemed really boring, because I was all about the psychology and sociology. I wanted to understand, why did you do that? Why do people do some of the things that they do? Even for myself, even to understand actions that I had taken, like I get why you did that, because I know why we did that. We did that, right? But why did you really do it though? Because you could have done X, Y, and Z. But this is just me digging in my own head, again, and sharing. Anyway, so then I caught myself like, is the reason that you are talking about these things is because you still lack closure, or you're not over whatever it was that happened, or you still haven't learned your lesson? I'm just processing, because I have young people now. I have children that are the age that I was when I made some of these decisions, and so I consider that, and they are coming to some of the same crossroads that I came to. And I find that children do a lot of what they see us do, not what we say. So do what I say, not what I do. Well, children are sponges in that way. They're sponges in that way. They do what we do a lot of times. So, and your successes, your children can sometimes match your success, and actually their success is far greater than yours. And then sometimes they fall into some of the cycles that we fell into as, young adults, young parents. And we learned our lessons in front of our children. When I get it, and I be like, that's why that happened. Okay, so this is cause and effect. I share with my children. I be like, hey, I thought that this was it. That was not it. Or you know what? It was exactly right. The elder told me to do such and such. Or my intuition, I did blah, blah, blah. And this is what happened because of it. Like, I learned about karma, and I shared it with my children. I started to peel back the layers of the religious system that I was rooted and raised in. And I share that with them also. So gravity is still a theory. I was just thinking back to, it's like everything that I'm going to say, I'm thinking that I shouldn't say it. I share bits and pieces of it, but my story is such that I know I'm going to go down in history. I know that. It's not even that I want to. The number one reason that I share what I share is in an effort to help other people that may be blindly navigating through some of the exact same snares and traps and pitfalls that I hopscotched through, that I double dutched through. I ended up at the bottom plenty of times. And I just know what a challenging place it can be, and it challenged me in my spiritual and mental and feminine and emotional. And I'm gonna go back to physical fortitude. It's tested. I've been tested. And it's like I talk to myself about it, and it's like, I don't know. I'm not trying to escape responsibility. The incidents and things that have happened in my life that were literal cause and effect, like coming into work late all the time, calling into work. Yeah, you're gonna lose your job. And so I did in my 20s a lot. Not just because of that, but I'm just saying. I mean, that's just one of the lessons, one of the things I struggle with. I'm not gonna just say because I'm a Capricorn and procrastination is harsh, but there's a lot playing to that. But anyway, these are things that I'm always addressing. That I do make my strides. I do take steps backwards sometimes. They put a flower in my drink, and it actually made me sad tonight. They dressed it beautifully. It had a little umbrella, and it had a cherry and a lemon and an orchid. And the orchid was dipped into the drink, and I just I want it to live. So I took it out of the drink and I sucked the water off of it, like to get it off of there. And I was like, where can I put you? I'm like, how can I help you to live a little bit longer? I just felt so bad. I did. I was like, it's a beautiful drink, but like at the cost of everything that's dead in it. Anyway, I'm not trying to escape responsibility. It's like, and I don't think that I'm perfect. It's not that. But there's so much that I was raised that there just are no coincidences. First off, there's nothing that happens by chance. And there's so much of what I've experienced that I do believe was intentional. There's manipulation outside of myself, outside of my life. And I cannot help but wonder, like, what's on the other side for people playing other people's lives, that puppeteer, and cause things to happen and manipulate. I have this one situation, someone that I really, really love is going through something that any of us can go through some of these things, but it's happening to someone that I really love. So I'll just talk about my situation when I was this person's almost exact age. And I was working like 2.5 jobs. I was working a lot of hours, and I loved being busy like that. My children were living with my ex-husband at the time, so it's my time to pay child support. It's my time to focus on myself, and if I want to work like a dog, like I ended up doing, I can do that. If I want to ready myself and sit down somewhere long enough to get a formal education, then I could have done it in that time. But I chose to work. Like I said, 2.5, 3 jobs, sometimes full-time jobs. And so anyway, so I was working a couple of jobs and a half, and I met a gentleman, and we obviously liked each other, but he must have told me that he was going through a divorce. And I was like, off the top, like, there's no one that I trust in today's time to throw myself into a situation with them. And you are spiritually and legally bound to someone else. I can never be your side chick. I can never be the adulterer, the seductor. And I don't share. So not like that. So anyway, I looked up, and because I was working the hours that I was working, it's like once I finally came up for air and I actually had the time to focus on a relationship, one of the positions had gone away. I lost one of the jobs, so then I was down to 1.5 jobs. I have all this time on my hands, so I was looking for the person that I was involved with. And that's like when I started asking questions, and I remember the question that made me realize, like, you're not doing this right. That's not how you find love. That's not a position where you put yourself, where love, genuine love can come across your path, Teneca, what are you doing? Anyway, and I remember this fella asked me, he was like, so if you saw me out like at Walmart or at Walgreens, out with another woman, like, what would you do? And I was like, what do you mean, like, out with another woman? Like, because I know that he does a lot of business stuff. And so I'm like, she could be a client, she could be a sister. I'm not quick to jump on, like worst case scenario, situations. I was just like, what should I do? Are you saying you wouldn't acknowledge me? That I would have to question how to react to seeing you with someone? Like, any other time if you see me, like, why are you asking me this? Obviously why he's asking me that, okay? That's a possibility at that point. And I just remember that there were a series of events that happened where the opportunity obviously, unfolded for he was found out. And I learned that not only did he actually had someone else, this man, he was divorced like he said he was, but he was involved with someone else. And I'm just saying, the moment that I knew, it's like, it's not even because I want to hurt someone. I didn't want to hurt him. I was just like, it's just the right thing to do. I'm going to leave you to what you're doing and let me just focus on myself and getting past this huge amount of time that's been wasted. And as long as you just leave me alone, then you have an opportunity to get it right with our girlfriend, whatever she was, because I could easily go and bust that all the way up. But because I'm exiting, it's an opportunity for you to not do that again. And because this is the kind of thing that if your significant other did find out, you would lose her pretty much like you're losing me right now. And this is enough. It's enough for me just to walk away, because anyway, I was really trying to I was trying, even in my devastation, to not hurt someone else. Like my absence is going to hurt you, because baby, I am a good woman. I am a good friend to have. I am a good acquaintance. I'm a solid person to know and to be around. And I know that there are not a lot of me. We're out there. I know what I am. So that's how I know. It's like, let me just exit before you turn me into something that I'm really not, that I don't want to be. Like, I have to hurt myself to stay at the standard, to be the reflection that I know I actually am, because I was in love. Anyway, I say all that to say that even before that happened to me and I looked up and found myself to be a so-called side chick, that's happened a couple of times in my life where I was like, that's why you're showing up like this, because I'm not the only one. Not only am I not the only one, I'm the second one. You live with a woman? What? Okay. What? What did you just say to me? What did I just find out? What? As a woman, it didn't matter how much I cared about this person, because when I considered all of the things that would have had to been moved out of the way for that space to have been made for someone else, like for you to, that's why you barely fit me in. And when it happened to me, when I was in committed exclusive relationships, when I looked up and I'm the so-called main, and I look up and learn that my significant other had someone else, a bunch of someones, he was the neighborhood, when I learned that about my significant others, I really was thinking, like, you had to be missing in action in all these places where you were supposed to be, to make the room for where you wanted to be, the place where you really wanted to be. Because like the place that you will make exceptions like that for, when you will violate spiritual or this worldly legal law pertaining to marriage, or pertaining to just the moral laws, spoken and unspoken in relationships in general, like that's actually where you need to be at. You need to be in a place where you're not compromising yourself for what you're thinking is just a fling or a fetish. But if it was so big that you let it come between you and someone else, then in my mind, that's where you were supposed to be. So not only would I reluctantly be walking away from, gentlemen that I'm still calling them gentlemen, and they prove themselves to be dogs, but I'm just saying I walked away with grace and dignity. I don't need to tear you down because you're making a mistake, or you've made a mistake. You lose me. And I know that that's a bigger deal than what you even realize, because I would never have done this to you. That I can promise you. And like, I talk about that because the reaction that was anticipated is the very persona and the very, like, this is the creature, the demon that had him scared in his mind, this is what made it okay for him to do what he was doing, that it's just like, in all the friends and all the coworkers and all the family members and all the neighbors, all the people who saw you in your fog, the fog that, in their fog that they created for themselves. It's just like, it's so easy to just do the right thing. If someone is pulling on you, your attraction for, or your temptation for someone is so strong. But I'm just saying, it's like when it was my turn, and because I've never pursued anyone that was in a relationship already. Not when I was married, not when I was single and dating. Like, it didn't matter if the person was with me and I found out that they had a side chick, or if someone that I thought I was with and I learned that I'm your side chick. You got me messed up. You been with this woman for how many years? And you just made me like, why are you doing this? Why did you do that to her? Like, I can't even say me, because you don't even know me to respect me. You should respect me as a human being, but you don't. But I'm just saying, what I had to do to maintain that standard for myself, within myself, first off, I'm telling you, I had to, you have to, for those, because just because someone has been found to betray you doesn't mean you don't still love them and you don't care. That doesn't just go away overnight. But for me to separate myself and, like, you're going to turn me into something that, even that something is not worth you cheating on. Like, no one deserves that. But I don't want to be outside of what I actually am, and the bad is in there with the good. But I choose the good because I know I would be devilishly unstoppable if I ever decided to turn on that part of my femininity, that part that resides in ego and power and lust. That's like, I know what I could be, and I pride myself on not being that. And I'm no angel. I'm not saying that by any stretch, but I am not disloyal. I do not cheat. I will not lie to you. I've not done that to anyone, and I'm not just shitting on the people who have done it, because people make mistakes. They make mistakes, and that's like the bigger thing. I get how some of these things happen with people, but I've always known better than to ever attack the character or the image or the person that was on the other side of a triangle, whether they knew about me or not, whether I think that, oh, she knew that I existed and she was still here, or she knew that I existed and she didn't leave him. Like, the only person who made a promise to me to not be what he turned out to be is this person over here. I'm going to assume that you knew about me, and I'm just saying, I have mercy on them who don't know, because what matters is what you do once you do know. And I understand that it is not as easy to separate yourself from a situation. I've had to do it. Like, what kind of helped me to do it is realizing that the feelings that I felt were based on a lie. I'm not even in my right frame of mind trying to make a decision to share aspects of myself, of my life, of my body, of my world with people that they never deserve to have my time. They know that they knew that they didn't at the time. They know it now. They knew it then. And they knew that I didn't know. I didn't fully see my worth. I also didn't fully see through the facade, obviously, because I've been gotten several times. But I'm saying, because of where I found myself sometimes, I always leave that room for like people that might not know, male and female. You might not know that you've been in a tangled web with the spider who spun a web for you and I to sit in together, the three of us or more. Everyone doesn't have the same standards and the same discipline to pull out of relationships that were pointless and that were based on nothing, to save yourself in that way. Save yourself. I was like, and I also want so badly, or used to want so badly, to get angry with the gentleman. Like, but it's like, really, like, how can I get mad because you like somebody enough that you lost me over them? I'm only mad at the time that was lost, because you should have what you want and what you think you deserve. And if you thought that making the decision that you made was better than the decision that you could have made to be with me, then like, how can I get mad at it? I never understand the point in a deception. I never get that. I never get it. And then I have a hard time actually blaming anyone, because it's like the power of seduction, the power of temptation can outweigh the depth and the gravity of your morals. Like it can outweigh it in the moments that you're having, that you're sharing that passion with someone. And I'm not speaking from experience, because I'm telling you, once I know that there is someone else, there's nothing attractive about a person. Like, I don't want your gaze on me. I don't want you to think about me with seductive or passionate thoughts, or lustful thoughts, or like futurist thoughts. I don't want to be in your mind, because if you were my man, I wouldn't want you thinking like that about another woman. What you with me for? And then I learned about soulmates and twin flames, and the thought did occur to me, like, what would you do, Teneca, if your love interest, if you looked up and found out that he has come across his actual twin flame, his actual soulmate, the woman that he's actually supposed to be with? I know that he thought it was you for all the reasons that he thought it was you, but what would you do? My love is a little bit different, because I've never loved someone so much, or so little rather, that I wanted to keep them for my own selfish reasons. I never want to hold you back from what's due you. If the guys, those fellas, that they saw themselves with someone else, I actually wanted them to have that. And I don't mean like you can have that bitch. No, I didn't mean like that. I genuinely meant like I just want you to be happy, and I want you to be in a place where you're not lying. But obviously, because you will have lied, like this one, I remember standing up in the bed, the whole body in the bed. Because he's texting and calling this chick, and he was meeting up, and he later did end up marrying this chick. I was just like, I've busted so many guys. It's just like, thank God we didn't go past this part in our relationship. We didn't go past this point. This is a point where I would feel dirty and cheap. Like, I'm glad that we didn't do this or this or this. And now I know the truth, and I'm this fortunate that I know it now, instead of thinking that I was building a life with you and you turn out to be, harboring feelings for this other woman that, like, why didn't you just be with her? What were you thinking? What are you doing? Like, I'm not just something to do, and no one is just something to do. No one is. Everybody's time should be respected. Anyway, I've come across others, male and female, that in the same situation, well, now I have these feelings. I'm just supposed to trash him and throw him away and let him or her have my man. I'm like, not necessarily, but like, what would you be holding on to? What are you fighting for? They are undecided, and until they choose you, you have nothing to fight for. You have nothing to fight for if you know that their heart is with someone else. And don't let anyone tell you that their heart belongs to someone else because of something that you're doing or did. They have chosen. And if whatever it is about you was so bad that it made them drop levels and degrees of love that they supposedly had for you, they should have left just because of that. You don't get caught doing something outside of the relationship and then try to turn back and say, well, if I would have cooked, if I would have cleaned, if I would have lost weight, if I would have worn better clothes or better shoes, if I would have done my hair differently, if I would have worn glasses less, if I would have, I don't know, if maybe I would have pushed him so that he would want to have a better career, if maybe I didn't push him so hard to have to do better for himself. I don't know, if I had been tougher, if I had been nicer. Like, just when you really think about that, it's like, don't you ever let someone blame you for their decision. They can talk that to other people outside of your situation that don't know the other side of him or her, because they have a different representation of themselves that they're flaunting and faking and acting and pretending with someone else. That person doesn't know what they've shown you, but they will soon. Because if they did that to you and you wasn't even doing nothing, you're crazy if you think they know that they'll get in another relationship and all of a sudden just get it. It doesn't work like that. Although I will say, in my youth, in my 20s in particular, I had a group of friends and I that we did kind of discover this part together, that we saw Rara, who was in love with with Coco, and they were supposedly in love, but he wouldn't work. He wasn't trying to do nothing for himself. He wasn't trying to do nothing for her. He would get mad every time she would suggest that them both going to school together. And then he meets Jillian. And all of a sudden, without Jillian saying shit, he stops sagging. He doesn't want to be called Rah Rah. He's Raheem, and you will actually say his whole name. He's not. Anyway, he's holding down a job. He's taking care of himself, and now he wants to take care of Jillian. This is the same man. And Jillian didn't do anything extra specialer than Coco. She didn't do anything differently. She's just there, existing in a relationship with him. Both women are beautiful, but there's something over here. He is driven and motivated to do something that he could have done without either of those women. I've seen that as well. I'm just saying, like for me, if we're not elevating each other, if we're not spending, like, to be in a relationship and we don't have any favorite songs or favorite movies together, or favorite restaurants together, or favorite positions, respectfully, this is for entertainment purposes only, this part right here. But it's to let yourself get to a point that he let himself get to a point where he thought he needed to deceive and do what he's doing. So this person that I know, I'm getting too emotional. I'm getting way too emotional right now. It's like I hurt to see others hurt. And I remember. And that's why I'm saying, like, the closest that I come to wanting to hurt somebody, which I've never just wanted to hurt anybody. But I don't want to hurt, and I don't want the people who are hurting to hurt. So my advice is, like, leave them alone. Just let them do what they're doing without you. If you took the physical representation of what they're doing to you emotionally, because there are physical reactions to emotional traumas. If you knew the injury that you were doing to your body, to sit in heartbreak, to be missing someone that you are nothing to them. When I looked up and I realized that I didn't mean anything to people who meant a lot to me, to the couple of people that meant the world to me, I realized that I was nothing to them. I tested one. I was like, I don't believe that you don't love me. I don't believe. I cannot believe that you don't care for me. Delete all my pictures out of your phone. Let me see you do it. Let me see if you can actually let yourself, because I'm going to walk out of your life. I cannot believe. When this conversation is over, you will not talk to me. I will not talk to you ever again. Delete the pictures out. Delete the deleted pictures. Go to the emails. Take them out of there. Delete my profile. Give me the phone. Let me delete my number and my contact. Let me see, that's for the one that I thought I was, or the couple that I thought I was with. That I looked up and learned that they didn't have any love for me. It was like unrequited, like completely. There's nothing between us, and I didn't know. I should have known. But see, so much of what I feel in relationships is what is coming from inside of me. It's not what I'm feeling from someone, or it wasn't at the time. Anyway, we are all Neo and Trinity to someone else. It is really unfortunate when people connect and they try to make a connection and it's not a stable connection, or there is no connection, or they just simply are not meant to be. That's always unfortunate. But I just want to encourage everyone, like, the moment that you know, if it's not something that you want to fight for, don't waste nobody's time. Don't play. You look up and you find yourself in a relationship 5, 7, 15, 30, 40 years with someone that you not only have been unhappy with the majority of the time, but you actually do not truly know that person. Because if you knew, it's like, that's why I consider, like, what love is to all of us. Because I can't know that you are grossly dissatisfied with our connection and you're doing nothing to change it, and you won't let me do anything to change it. I find it hard to believe that people in that situation, that love is what kept them together. I don't know what you call that. It's my love for my significant others. It made me want them to be fulfilled. And if you're not fulfilled with me, if I am not enough for you, or like one guy told me that I was a restless soul, like I'm too much, because he got to witness me in my purpose with my children. He got to witness me in my purpose with my coworkers, the women that have been entrusted into my keep, women that we are on each other's paths. I'm older than you significantly, and you're having this experience. They were having this experience, and they're sharing it with me and asking for my counsel. And this man is listening to me, not be facetious or vindictive, or he's watching me guide younger women. Like, this is some mess that's going on. But sister, we really should be coming together to devise the mechanism that can give us the positive outcome. We should be coming together to really figure out the way to do this, where no one's going to be hurt, or as few people would be hurt as possible, if we can get to the bottom of what's going on. This man watched me go through some stuff, and we were just friends primarily. But he told me, he was like, "TenecaMM, I think that you're a lost soul. You're a restless soul." I'm like, and this is coming from someone who ran from his calling. Many are called, few are chosen. Anyway, when there's a relationship, for everyone. There is someone that that they will start their morning in gratitude for their own lives, in gratitude for waking up, but then their very second thought will be you. It could be you. It will be you one day. And if you're already in a relationship and that relationship has seemingly soured, how did that get there? Whenever I consider the couples that I've met that have testified that they've been in the honeymoon phase for over 40, 50 years, it's like not without, for real, passionate intention, disciplined intention. I never want to be a weight on you. I only want to make you feel lighter. I want you to hear from me first thing every morning. If your mother doesn't call you, if your father doesn't call you, if your children don't call you, if your siblings don't call you, if your homies don't call you, and say, I hope you have a good day. Say, I love you. Tell me how you're doing and how you're feeling. Oh, you seem like something's going on. Is there something going on in your mind? Do you care to share what's going on with you? And some people are like, well, everyone don't feel like that. Everybody don't. Then I'm not talking to you. Or I may be talking to you, and maybe it's time for you to evolve because another way has been introduced to you that's outside of what you've been doing. And there's nothing wrong with that. To each his own. So if what I'm saying does not resonate, then please feel free to excuse yourself from this part or from my channel for a little while. Because there are some people that may resonate. There are some people who may yearn for that type of connection. And you don't have to sneak out. Like, you know what I feel like really happened? I think that the guys who did that with me, who fumbled me, I think that it happened when they met me and they thought that I was wonderful because I am. They thought that about me and they wanted to acquire that and to share that. And they got with me. And because I'm constantly playing back and working through, like I do it obsessively sometimes. I don't do it. It's not intentional. Compulsively, I think, is when you do it involuntarily. Sometimes, well, back then it was really bad. But that would inspire growth and love in them and passion and realizations about themselves. And instead of them sharing that with me, they would still be in the regret of people that they lost before me. And they would step back to those people, trying to bring my energy to those people. A couple of them are married. They're hating their significant others. I mean, I won't say that they hate each other, but he's still cheating. He's cheating on them like they cheated on me. Stepping outside of the relationship, having those emotional affairs, spiritual affairs. This is my work wife. This is my work husband. I don't want one of those. I don't want a relationship where my significant other has a work spouse. I'm not a hater of anyone's connection. You can make a connection with whoever you want, but that's what separates the prize earned versus the prize taken. The prize forfeit, because he would not have worked for my trust and for my loyalty and for my love and for my energy to know that I make the exception for him to ever squander it, to play around in someone else's emotional space and make believe about anything. Why would you? Why would any person do that? Unless, like, it's just very telling on how you feel about what you have. Play with somebody else. Play with somebody else. And I'm speaking this language, and I'm several years single. But I'm filled with love. I think about it all the time. Not like I miss it. 'Cause I've never really had it to miss it. I don't have anyone that we had, like I said, that we had our favorite anything. No one invested in me like that. Not one. And not only that, they rejected my love and my efforts. But I found myself meeting a class of men that were all speaking the same language. Right after they step into their retirement, they started talking about how their wives of 20, 30, 40 years, she up and left. And she don't know, as soon as it's over, I got a house over here already waiting. And I'm just like, and I got a younger woman, and she gonna move up in there. Like, I've heard all kinds of things, and I'm just like, you don't know that I've met several of your brothers, many of your brothers in this game, who speak the same language, who claims that they don't know why a woman just left them and all of the luxuries and all of the comforts and the privilege that you wrapped y'all's relationship in financially. And for whatever reason, you feel like the guy felt like that woman never deserved his loyalty, never deserved his 100. And I'm like, what woman, with or without children, who would just walk away from that type of, like, you're providing on that level, and you're in love with her still, and you're handsome, and she has youth in her bones, like y'all look good together. Like, why would you sow all that time together, and right when it gets easier, when you're at the age of retirement, or when you're at the point of graduation, whether it's from basic training or whether it's from college or high school, someone stuck with you through all of that, and now you're throwing in the towel. And so it's like, well, now a bigger truth about us as women, where have we evolved in this? There are some of the women that went and fought tooth and nail. You're gonna give me what I deserve. You're gonna give me what I've earned. She taking half of your stuff. I'm in that class of us that took nothing and know that I could have, even in the ones that I wasn't married to. It was just enough. And I think that that's a bigger threat to this system than the women who, I think some of these fellas would rather you take everything than for you to spark that and inspire that type of courage. And another spouse, men and women, find themselves on the other side of fuckery like that. but that you choose to walk away empty-handed because all you really wanted from that person was just a genuine connection, an honest connection, a real connection, a real love, that someone thought that they were sharing their lives with you. And every place is your chocolate box to the people who this applies to. And I'm just like, every time I see one of those men or women, because women do it too, but mainly the men, when I would go out of their way to tell me that this is their current situation, and I'm like, and you're telling me this so that we can be friends, or because you think that I'm willing to be involved with you when you have that type of deception rolling? Yeah, I done put it down on the house and had the inspection, and that's my house. As soon as it's over, just move my stuff in. And I told her to see if she would fight for me, and she didn't even fight for me. She been fighting for you the whole time y'all been together. Sound like you win. That's who won this. You win. And whoever pulled you out of a 10, 15, 20-year connection that was only damaged because of you, if you can even admit that. Like, I know there's people waiting on me to go somewhere so they can put out a book lying about my life, lying about their lives with me. Don't even play.
Manipulation. 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 Manipulation.